Hello students, I am Dr. Hari Prapan Sharma. In this video, we have discussed theories of capital structure. In case of theories of capital structure, we have discussed four theories of capital structure: net income approach, net operating income approach, traditional approach, and Modi-Gilani and Miller approach. In this particular video, we have discussed only net income approach. Uh, Further video, we have discussed one by one other approaches of theories or other theories of capital structure. Now, this theory was propounded by David Durand. David Durand developed that particular theory and is also known as fixed cost of equity theory. Here K is cost of equity and fixed and other things you know very well. So this theory is known as fixed cost of equity theory also. According to this theory, a firm can increase the value of the firm and reduce the overall cost of capital by increasing the proportion of debt in its capital structure to maximum possible extent. Or we can say a firm can minimize the weighted average cost of capital and increase the value of the firm as well as the market price of equity share by using debt financing to the maximum possible extent. Okay. It is in this theory we have discussed two things. One is increase the debt, the value of the firm also increase, or we can say in our capital structure if we increase the proportion of debt, then value of the firm is also increased. What the reason behind that? That reason is it is due to the fact that debt is generally a cheaper source of funds. Now, next question is why we can say or how we can say debt is a cheaper sources of fund comparison to equity. It has a two logic or two reasons. One is interest rates are lower than dividend rates due to element of risk. Again, I am repeating, interest rates are lower than dividend rates due to element of risk. And second thing is the benefit of tax. As the interest is deductible expenses for income tax purposes, these are the two major reasons who decrease the value of the debt or who minimize the cost of debt comparison to the cost of equity. Now, net income approach assume that continuous increase in debt does not affect the risk perception of investors. That is the first assumption of net income approach. If we increase the debt proportion in our capital structure, there is no risk perception of other investors or equity shareholders have not any kind of risk in this regard. Second is cost of D or cost of debt, KD, is less than the cost of equity. We discussed in a previous slides also. So in this case, KD is always less than to KE. Corporate income taxes do not exist. In net income approach, which is given by the David Durand, they assume there is not any kind of income tax. Now we discuss with this diagram also, we know very well what we say as the proportion of debt in a capital structure increase the value weighted average cost of capital. The line of this argument in favor of net income approach is that as the proportion of debt financing in capital structure increase, the proportion of a less expensive sources of funds increases. This results in the decrease in overall weighted average cost of capital, leading to increase in the value of the firm. The reason for assuming cost of debt to be less than the cost of equity are that interest rates are usually lower than dividend rates due to element of risk and the benefit of tax as the interest is a deductible expense. On the other hand, if the proportion of debt financing in capital structure is reduced, we can say if we reduce our capital cost of debt in this case, or say when the financial leverage is reduced, the weighted average cost of capital will be increases. That will be increases because if we reduce, then that is increases. If we increase the debt proportion, then cost of capital is reduced. K is our weighted average cost of capital. K is cost of equity and KD is cost of debt. If we increases our debt proportion, in the same proportion, our cost of capital also decreases. If we increases our cost of equity, then our cost weighted average cost of capital is also increases. Okay. After that, here we discuss how we calculate total market value of a firm on the basis of net income approach. In the first regard, we have a formula, and that formula is V equal to S plus D. Now, what's the meaning of V? V stands for total market value of a firm. S equal to market value of equity share. V stands total market value of the firm, and S equal to market value of equity shares. If that is given in our question, that's easy. There is no problem. If we find out the market value of equity share, then how we find out? We find out earning available to equity shareholders upon equity capitalization rate. What's the equity capitalization rate? Basically, our rate of capitalization, rate of return. So we find out upon equity capitalization rate. And D equal to market value of debt. So in this case, we find out the total market value of the firm if our debt or equity proportion will change. We also calculate our overall cost of capital, or we can say weighted average cost of capital, with the help of KO. It is equal to weighted average cost of capital equal to EBIT, earning before interest and tax, or we can say operating profit, upon V. V equal to total market value of a firm. And how we calculate V? We calculate V equal to S plus D. Okay. Thank you to all of you. Listen carefully. If you have any kind of doubt regarding this particular theory, then you discuss with me in a class. Thank you to all of you.